So you should hear that pop up right now. And yeah, thank you all for joining us. I'm Jennifer Dickey. I'm the study abroad coordinator at Webster University, and I actually have several colleagues here from St. Louis and from Geneva. So if you guys want to go ahead and maybe introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
I can go. I'm Tyler. I'm the study abroad advisor here in St. Louis.
And I'm Kim McGrath, also based in St. Louis. I'm the director of the WINS program.
Hi, I'm Joseph Marques, adjunct faculty here at Webster Geneva and director of the global governance course.
Hello, my name is Gail Babulaz. I'm the Student Affairs Director at the Webster Geneva campus, and also in charge of the study abroad programs.
Hello, I'll say hi quickly. This is Will McDonald, Director of Enrollment and External Relations at Webster in Geneva. Great to see you all. Thanks for joining.
Excellent. All right, so I'll start with a quick overview of the city. Will and Gael, feel free to jump in. My info is very brief, and then I'll hand it over to Dr. Marques to talk more about the global governance program, courses in general, and just sort of what to expect while on this 3-week program. So welcome to Geneva. If you're here today, you likely already know that Geneva is home to the European headquarters of the United Nations, maybe also that it is a hub for the world's multilateral system. You maybe are a political science major or an international affairs major, maybe human rights, sustainability, and just looking for a unique opportunity to really study abroad in a place and in a time where you can immerse yourself in the activities that are happening across the UN and other NGOs and things like that. And Geneva is the perfect place to do so. As Switzerland's most diverse city, it has also been known is known for its spirit of international cooperation, which made Geneva the ideal site for Webster's first international campus location. So recently celebrated a couple of years ago, 40 years since we started a campus there. And it's really grown in the activities that we've been able to do with students and involvement within the community and the international rights organizations has really just only grown and gotten better since the beginning. So we're really happy to be located there. Actually, we're located in the village of Bellevue, which is an 8-minute train ride from the central station. And our campus is, as you can see from one of the photos on the slide, if you caught the intro slide, it's a really stunning view of Mont Blanc, Lake Geneva. But yeah, just 8 minutes from the city center station to get to campus. And it's a beautiful park-like campus location. I think it's a wonderful location there as well. So it's a great spot, and both the city of Geneva and our campus are extremely diverse for their size. So the city of Geneva itself has approximately 200,000 citizens. If I'm off on that, please let me know. But with citizens from 175 countries. So it's very diverse. Similarly, Webster Geneva welcomes students from over 90 nationalities each year, and it's the most culturally diverse of Webster campuses. So it's a really a great fit for each other. Geneva itself is situated right in the heart of Europe, so it's very easy to immerse yourself in the culture of other European cities, many of which are accessible 2 hours away by train. That's also the Alps region and Lake Geneva region offer some of the best sporting terrain in the world and really something for everyone. So you may actually prefer spending your free time a little closer to home. You'll see a schedule later on in the presentation. So that's something to consider. It's, you're close to other European capitals and other cities, but there's so much to do. So in the free time in those 3 weeks, you may find that you enjoy staying a little bit closer to the region. So I don't know, Will and Gael, if you want to touch on anything specific to the campus. We can also talk about it at the end, but I just plugged in this slide to kind of show a little bit about the program. Dr. Marques, if you would like to share, and I know you've seen these slides, so if you want me to go forward or backwards, just let me know.
Will and Gael, do you want to say anything about the city and about the campus, or?
Hi, thanks so much. Perhaps I'll just mention that it's a place where all the study abroads, when they first arrive, they can adapt really quickly operating in English. I think it's probably already mentioned in terms of the international aspect of the city. About 40% of us are not from Switzerland, so English is often the common denominator. It makes it a great place to call home base. You can play and practice in French, but you don't need French to operate in the town. By the end of the session, you'll get to know perhaps more about how close we are to the UN and all the different agencies. So I'm glad to chime in at the end as they mentioned, in case there's additional questions about the campus itself. But it's only 8 minutes by train from the UN district. So we have trains every 15 minutes from campus to the UN and back. So it makes a program like this possible.
Gael, anything? Well, if not, Jennifer, perhaps I can talk a little bit about the program.
Sure, that'd be great.
All right, well, great. Well, welcome everyone. I am delighted to finally see this program taking off. Unfortunately, as you probably guess, with COVID, it's been it's been impossible. Many of the international organizations have been closed, but this is an idea I had a couple of years ago to actually leverage our presence at the heart of international Geneva and offer students, especially undergraduates, a unique opportunity to blend an academic overview of many of these global issues that are listed here in this slide, as well as the opportunity to meet and to discuss the work that's actually done inside all these international organizations by international practitioners. So the program has perhaps 4 key characteristics. It's a small program, ideally 12 to 15 students, to be able to get into certain meetings with practitioners. It's impossible to take such a large contingent, so we will be limited to about 12, 15 at max. Second characteristic is an intensive program. Instead of being a traditional 8-week-long summer program, this will be a very intensive 3-week course where every day, roughly from 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, we will be busy. Ideally, the morning session will provide a series of theoretical overviews of the issue of the day. And then after a delicious lunch, we will all hop on this very comfortable train, and 3 stops later, we will be in the heart of international Geneva, and we will be visiting many of the immediate organizations, and by day 2 or day 3, you will know your way around, and you may want to go back, take photos. Some of the buildings, hopefully you'll be able to get in, others you'll need to register. The third characteristic is, besides small and intensive, it aims to be an extensive program in the sense that we hope to cover a lot of ground, and ideally roughly something around 8 to 10 global issues, anything from development, trade, global governance, refugees, human rights, gender, intellectual property, humanitarian, environment, health, labor. There's plenty to go by. Hopefully, when we have more information about the students enrolled in the program, we can actually tweak the program and make sure we cover some of the issues that you in particular that you may have. And then finally, I think one of the most important characteristics, it's experiential characteristic. In other words, you will be spending afternoons walking the same hallways that diplomats and government officials and NGO leaders do. You'll be, perhaps we'll have coffee at one of the cafes inside the UN campus, and you'll see that a lot of business is done inside these auditorium, big meeting places, but equally so at the coffee counter, where you will see delegates negotiating and talking to one another. So by going into the building where discussions and negotiations are actually happening, you'll get, I think, a very, very realistic sense of what working there is like. So an intensive program, this takes in other words, it's a 6-credit program, and ideally incorporates 2 courses that are in the course catalog, one on advocacy, NGOs and civil society, and then another one on global governance. So it'll be 2 times 3 credits, a total of 6. So again, intensive. In terms of the outputs, again, depending on the registration and the background of the students, we will have either a final written project, and I want to make it as dynamic as possible. So one idea would be for students to sort of keep a diary of their meetings, and from that, at the end, come to have the ability to summarize their impression of what global governance is, given, a 3-week stay in Geneva. Otherwise, there'll be the opportunity perhaps for some oral presentations, either individual or team project, either on a specific global issue, on a specific international organization, or what we call an international regime, which is let's say a grouping of individuals, institutions, rules, procedures, etc. As Jennifer mentioned, Geneva is within 1 hour flying distance of many, many exciting places in Western Europe. You will have Friday and the weekend, if you want to complement your stay in Geneva with a quick visit to any other great European city. Otherwise, Switzerland itself, even though it's a small country, it's a beautiful country with much to see, either mountains or lakes, hiking, music, theater. There's a lot going on in the summer. Fantastic is that Webster has its own housing, very, very convenient, very centrally located. So I think that's a very big plus. Hopefully this experience where you will put together a theoretical overview of some very important global issues, plus the opportunity to be able to speak, interview with several visiting internal and external faculty, as well as international practitioners. I think you will be able to benefit from a very, very rich experience where you'll look at a specific global issue from very different perspectives. Sorry about that. Are we still on or no? Uh-oh.
We're still here.
We're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, sorry. So the idea is that for a specific global issue, you'll hear from me, you'll hear probably from one or two other invited faculty, and then you'll also be able to hear, albeit from a different perspective, from international practitioners. Hopefully, you will go back to your home campus after this program and be encouraged to follow up and take specific courses on a specific global issue that caught your attention. This might help eventually for you to finish, I don't know, a capstone project or some sort of a thesis, or it may even encourage you then to pursue some graduate study on a specific aspect of global governance. And who knows, maybe you may want to come back to Geneva and do an internship, do graduate study, or even apply for a job in one of the many multilateral organizations. So that's it for right now. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on housing. So we have a lovely photo here, but we do have, Geneva does have their own housing, double accommodation within shared apartments. And as mentioned, it is convenient to not only campus, but to the UN district. You'll see the cost there. That's for 6 credit hours, summer tuition rate, a housing rate for 3 weeks. And this program is eligible for the Webster World Traveler Award and the WINS Award. So in regards to your airfare, meals and other personal expenses are not included in the program. We'll put a link in the chat to our website that has an interactive cost breakdown that you can use to plug in. And, if you do have a passport, then you don't have to worry about that cost. But if you do still need to apply for a passport, I think it's $145 at the moment. So little things like that, you'll be able to go in and plug in from your own viewpoint and budgeting purposes. You can take a look at that. We also do have scholarships available on our website. We'll make sure you're able to take a look at that as well too. Once you apply for the program or any of the programs, you'll be able to see in that same system the scholarship application as well. And the deadline for summer programs is February 28th. So yeah. If there are any questions about any of this information or the program itself, we're happy to take those now. And if there's anything else just in general that maybe we've missed, feel free to let us know.
Perhaps while they're thinking about questions related to the logistics or the course itself, I could just quickly chime in as an American who's moved here to Geneva. I know Joseph well. I know the connections that he's built in the international Geneva area. And I think of this as a really great opportunity for those of you who are thinking about, if you're in international relations or political science, for sure, this is a must-see city. It's to experience on the ground in these organizations. Even if you're not an international relations major or political, climate change, human migration, areas on disarmament, things that are happening now in Geneva, like the Blinken visit, meeting between Russia and US. These are the kinds of facilities that Joseph is essentially planning to bring students into. You may have the chance to be in some of these rooms, obviously not always during a negotiation, but every once in a while, as he said, you're walking past diplomats in the buildings. And I think it's phenomenal. I'm a New Yorker originally. You'll never get that kind of access in New York. That's what makes Geneva really special, is that it's a small city and Webster's been here for many years. So people like Joseph have been able to tap in to the network. I think for our students, just to give you a sense of what it's like on Geneva campus, we have students from almost 90 nationalities this year, many dual citizens, and of course, we always welcome study abroads from the US. They would be the first ones to tell you that being in Geneva, you have the chance, of course, to explore Geneva, and within Switzerland, very easy access by train and around the region. But as Joseph mentioned, many of them travel on weekends with an EasyJet ticket. It's relatively inexpensive to hop over to one of the other European capitals. So many of the students take advantage of making it a European experience in addition to a Swiss one. The weather in summer is so good, I wouldn't recommend going too far because it's fantastic to be here in the summertime. But you know, we have, for example, this Friday, I'm working with a professor on campus. We're bringing a group of 21 students to the UN, and we'll have a tour there. So even with COVID, fortunately, some of the organizations are allowing group tours, which is fantastic. And as Joseph said, it's we play it by ear according to which groups allow groups of which organizations will allow us in. But it's great to see that even the UN has opened for group tours, especially for university groups. And that's not, I don't think it's open to the general public. I think it's only through private groups that are booked now because of the COVID situation. So yeah, the goal is to get you access. And what we can promise as a campus to support the course is also to see whether our alumni network can get us access to additional people if Joseph needs, or even if you're on campus and we have alumni working in one of these organizations, we could potentially invite them in to meet with you even while you're on campus here in Geneva. So if you're one of those people who's not studied abroad yet, I think Geneva is also a really great first study abroad if you haven't been overseas. Also, just because of the size of our city, it's under a few 100,000. I think it's officially just around 200 something thousand in the city, about 500,000 on the local area. But it just makes it a much more manageable place for you if you're a first timer hopping over the seas, as I was even in my late 20s. So hopefully you get to do it sooner than I did. But yeah, we're welcome for open for any questions. Maybe Gail may have some comments. If not, I'll turn it back over to Joseph and team.
Great. Yeah, it looks like there were maybe a question or two in the chat that had been answered about costs and scholarships. So I think that's good. I'll go ahead if I can figure out how and stop the recording.